right, so I got something really good tonight. I was able to come across some photos of Kyrgyzstan, and I'm telling you guys, this is the place to look. It's amazing. I mean, I found buildings and scenes and people that look, they look just like the people in San Francisco and New York at the same time period. I'm talking about the late 1800s and very early 1900s. None of these photos are older than 1912. And, just look here at the first image here. You see, this kind of Tartarian, for lack of a better word, the arches, the antennas, and just the whole antiquitech thing going on with the mud. See, that's the thing. And you're going to see throughout the rest of these pictures, we got these beautiful palaces with these giant mansion, palace, palatial estates, and then the mud. It doesn't make any sense. Why not brick or granite or even wood roads, just mud? And they dug it out. And it already looks ancient. It already looks old as hell. All right. See, and then here we have this problem with these beautiful buildings and then these tacky, cheap signs. Just like in San Francisco, just like in New York. Beautiful building, cheap signs. It's just, there's some very strong inconsistencies, but at the same time, we're seeing some consistencies with the inconsistencies, if that makes any sense. Because we see this junk in San Francisco and New York and Chicago and St. Louis and Los Angeles and every other big city in North America at the same time. But here we have in essentially Russia, but this is, like I said, this is Kyrgyzstan, but same thing, Slavic. All right, moving on. And then the other thing is, what do we see when we see the inheritors? These stinking jalopies. See? But then we have the horses, because that's what built this. That's what helped build this, is the horses. It's always the horses, the jalopies, the buildings that make no sense, and then the dirt roads. And then the inheritors. Here we have the electricity going into the palace. Just these cheap, crooked poles. It makes no sense. Why aren't the power poles, why aren't the utility poles as nice as the buildings? And of course the trees built around it, muddy roads, the whole shebang. And of course we have the arches. And it says 1591, 1891. But, who really knows? We don't know who built this. Okay? And even if it was built in 1591, that's saying something. That's lasted this long. It's lasted 300 years when this picture was taken. Arch, spires, antiquitech, radio antennas. But then, of course, no. Excuse me. Here we have frickin' camels. Frickin' camels this time. And horses, but also camels. Because of, where we're at. And then, of course, we have the mud. The mud, the horses, the camels, and then the palaces and the antiquitech. It's just getting to be a little bit too much, folks. It really is. We're just, it's getting silly. It really is. moving on. Here, possibly the same arch, I'm not sure. In any case, different perspective. See this building a little better if this is the same arch, which I think it is. But that's irrelevant because we have a better view of what's going on here. And let's zoom in. We have some mysterious, I mean, I can't tell if that's a person or not, it doesn't really matter, but it was interesting nonetheless. And then what else do the inheritors bring? They're stinking railroads. They're stinking cheap, dirty form of transportation here. And we just see just shoddy construction here. It's probably just going to sink right into the mud. And then we have the old buildings here, and then we have the people, and we're told that, you know, these people built it or something, but we know that's not true. And they're just looking confused as ever, just like the ones in North America at the same time. You know, and we're led to believe that this is, you know, what helped build this and what helped build that. And it's always the railroads, the mud, confused looking people, you know, who took the picture, nobody knows. And then, you know, just a barren wasteland of mud and dust. And here we are again, we're at the ripped up buildings. You know, they'll say it was a fire, or they'll say it was cannonballs, or something like that, gunfire. Makes no sense. These buildings look like they're ripped apart by a fucking monster. Pardon my French. Okay, and then we got the inheritor, and then the worker supposedly, or somebody to survey the damage, you know. But we see this kind of nonsense in San Francisco and Chicago after the Great Fire of Chicago. The same modus operandi, ripped to shreds, just completely devastated, like it was, you know, it was hit by something beyond what we're told. And I'm just, you know, I'm not upset or anything, it's just funny. It's just getting really funny because we're seeing the same stuff in completely different parts of the world. And, you know, and then here we have the same thing, the mud canals, the horses, the carts, the wooden wheels, and then some fabulous structure there in the background. People just sitting around, you know, not really doing too much of anything. And that's okay. You know, maybe they needed a break. Everybody needs a break once in a while. But regardless, we don't see any real construction. And we don't see any real, you know, it's just kind of posing. You know, just like in North America at the same time. And then here we go. Yeah, Antiquitech. Just like in San Francisco, same design and everything. And then these fabulous architecture here. You know, no attention to detail spared, you know, and then the mud. And, you know, we don't even see a lot of tracks from these wagon wheels. These wagon wheels look like they're just been sitting here collecting dust, you know. And then what's this? And then the cheap signs, and, but similar, very similar design to the buildings that were being put up in Chicago and San Francisco and Buffalo, New York, and New York City at the same time. You know, it looks like Coney Island. But this is Kyrgyzstan. I mean, you know, that's what I think is the most interesting. It's just the similarities. And here we have basically the same thing, just a slightly different angle, just to show that that isn't an anomaly or anything. I mean, this is real. These two photographs were probably taken at a similar time same cart, but just wanted to show a little bit. And then also we have an absence of people. We have a few people walking around, but not exactly a hustling, bustling, not something that would justify this type of construction, especially for the time. And then we have the old street lights again. We just have these similarities, and it's just very interesting. And then here we have another ornate structure here, and people just kind of standing around looking at it like they don't know what's going on, like they just dug it out, just like in San Francisco. And I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but I can't really stress that enough in this video, just how similar things are. And then we have the people here, large group of people, building here, possibly some type of holiday or special event. And these are the inheritors. These are the inheritors of Kyrgyzstan. These people probably came from rural areas and they were forced into these emerging cities to fill it up after the catastrophe. And these are the buildings that survived the catastrophe. And here we have the cheap utility pole. And see, here we go. Celebration of the date of the 300-year anniversary of the House of Romov, 1913. There you go. Huh? And here we have another building. What more can I say? It looks like a Victorian deal, but then we got the Orthodox crosses and the bulbs, but then it's out here in the middle of nowhere, sitting on a big pile of dirt. So, you make sense of it, I can't. And then here we have this mysterious tower here, this almost obelisk-like structure with some intricate detail. Here, we'll zoom in on that. Looking very, very old, very weathered. Here's a human for scale, so we can see how large the structure is, and I'm sure that this thing looked a lot better when it was done, but it's been sitting here for centuries before this guy came, and I'd be surprised if it's still standing at this point. We're talking about over 100 years old. And we'll zoom out, and there you have it. If anybody knows what this is, let me know. Very, very suspicious here all by itself, but probably wasn't always all by itself. And there you have it. And here we are with some type of cage or some type of skeleton of something, possibly a grave, possibly some type of electromagnetic radio, almost like a Faraday cage. That's what it reminds me of, at least, especially here with the antenna, lightning rod type apparatus. And once again, human for scale. And I have no idea what this is. I have no idea. But it does kind of play in with other things that were going on in similar structures in the world at the time. Possibly something to do with electricity or radiomagnetism. If anybody knows, leave it in the comments. Here's some more ruins with very intricate detail here, the stonework, and partially destroyed. Possibly some repairs to the facade at some point, but once again, just a mysterious, structure here. There's another one. appears to be made out of some type of brick, and then here we have some timber sticking out straight out for some reason. Maybe at one point there was some pulleys or, you know, some type of other structure here resting on these beams, or maybe it's purely for design. You know, maybe to hang people from, to intimidate invaders. Who knows? Who knows? But definitely an impressive structure, probably some type of fortress at some point. And, you know, I'm just a little in awe of what I could find there in Kyrgyzstan. We got a few more here. Some ruins here. Lord knows how old these are. And then, of course, we have the horse, staple at the time. And, yeah, very vast outlay of mud, adobe kind of, you know, probably for the lower class, you know, at the time. And here we have very badly damaged photograph, and this one I believe was from 1850. Very old, very old. You can see that they kind of painted out the sky a little bit. It's very muddy, but here we have some old buildings here made out of mud, or possibly, you know, very damaged, or possibly melted, as some people have alluded to some buildings across the world being melted. But this could just be simply just neglect. Regardless, kind of mysterious photograph. And then here we have another massive structure here, and humans for scale, and we see the large doorway for giants, the intricate detail here, but then we have a lean here, so this is obviously centuries and centuries old. You know, and then we have the people that kind of came into it and didn't really know what to do with it, except maybe kind of appreciate it a little bit and try to take care of it as best as they could, or whatever their instructions were at the time. But regardless, there you are. And I have a similar scene here. These are Kyrgyzstan, I would assume Muslims, and you know, just built right out here on the side of the mountain, you know. Just all one big mystery. And so we'll just leave with this photo here, and it's another kind of just Tartarian design. And then we have the crosses and the bulbs here, but the bell tower. And then we even have some people standing here on the porch. You can see two figures here what appear to be a female and possibly a younger female. Not sure, this is a very old, damaged photo, but this is all we got to try to figure out what was really going on in the past. So I want you to really kind of think about what was really going on back then a little bit. And I hope that this video has given you some better perspective as far as that it wasn't all in North America. We see the same inconsistencies and the same architecture and the same kind of general just mystery here in Kyrgyzstan in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.